So before she even called me up, she called the Bank of America. And she said to the Bank of America, what gives you the right to transfer my property out of my account and put it into somebody else's account? And they were like, well, you know, we had this judgment, da-da-da-da-da. And she says, no, that's not the fucking I asked you. I said, what gives you that right to do it? And they were like, well, you know, we got a contract with the county, and the county, if the county says that you owe them money, that we immediately just turn it over to them. And she's like, no, one more time. Who is the man or who is the woman that physically pushed that button on that computer and released my funds out of my account and transferred them on to another account? What is the name of that man or that woman? They said, well, it was Bank of America Lien Department. And she said, well, that's an awfully funny name to give a kid, but Bank of America Lien Department. So see, my sister's starting to catch on what I'm doing. And she said she wasn't able to record the Bank of America lady, but she said the Bank of America lady started screaming at her, started going bananas, saying, we're not going to release personal information. We can't tell you who actually did it. You know, all we know is that you owe money to the county. The county said that we want your money, and we have an agreement with the county to give them your money. And she said, optimum word, like, my money, my property. Who told you you could take my property and transfer it? Nobody has the right to touch anybody else's property without that person's consent. So I said to my sister, well, you're doing good. I said, but the only thing you're getting wrong with these people is that your money has been now transferred out of your bank account, right? So I got to find out who's making this mute. I got to mute everybody. Hang on a second. I got to mute everybody because I'm getting this crazy feedback. I'll unmute everybody in a second. But I said, like I said, my sister was saying that, I said, don't worry about the lien department. The lien department is done. Whoever signed the damn thing levied the credits out of your account and accredited somebody else's account with your credits. So it was funny, Bank of America said, well, you have, you know, you should go find a lawyer and they'll tell you what your rights are to defend yourself from your creditor. And it's like, creditor? No, my sister created those credits by going to work. Her company accredited her account because she went to work for 40 hours and got, say, $400 for working 40 hours. Her account was accredited. Why do you believe that Augusta County creates anything? How are they the creators? How are they the creditors of anything? And how does they believe, the Augusta County, believe that my sister owes them a debt? The treasurer, it says Augusta County treasurer, you know, believes you owe a debt. It's like, oh, Augusta County treasurer, that's a funny name for a boy. That's a funny name for a girl. I bet you they got their ass kicked a lot in school. A county Augusta treasurer. What the hell kind of Christian name is that? So she was funny, man. We're driving this poor fucking Bank of America lady crazy because she wouldn't really give anybody's personal name. She wanted to say what the name of the treasurer was. She wanted to say the name of the person who worked in the lien department. I said, well, it's well past the lien department. You might as well transfer this call to the levy department because the funds are gone. The credit has been moved. So it's no longer the lien department, it's the levy department. Who levied it? Who put their finger on the levy and who allowed it to flow? Who did the levying? We don't care who did the liening. Who did the levying? We want that person's name. We want to know exactly who they are. And we're going to ask them, do you believe that you had the right to levy funds from this account and transfer it and accredit somebody else's account? Who believes that they had that right to do that? Because honestly, the people in the bank only has a privilege and obligation. They're bound by certain rules, and they certainly can't touch a property that a man or woman claims is theirs and theirs alone. Nobody else has the right to use and enjoy that 400 credits or 400 funds or 400 Federal Reserve notes or 400 site drafts or 400 money orders, whatever they wanted to call it. She had the right to take that 400 or 300, whatever it was, 300, and do whatever she wished with it. You know, nobody else had that right to interfere with that. So this is going to be a fun lawsuit against Bank of America, and it's going to be fun, you know, because obviously she's going to sue to get that her property restored to 300, but then obviously she's going to have to make a claim for damages because it made checks bounce or made her go without dinner or made her waste her time. until she could find other sources of funding. Because then she called me up and she said, I'm going to have to use some of your money out of your account and pay for food. I said, pay for gas. I said, yeah, don't worry about it. But she was trying to do it on her own. But like I said, it should be an interesting case, so hopefully it'll help you a little bit, Scotty. But what I'm trying to say is these government people or bank people have duties, responsibilities, obligations, and privileges to exist in that position. They have no rights, and they can't believe a damn thing. All they can do is maintain a position, maintain the status of what they were assigned to do. They can't overextend themselves. They can't do more. They can't do, well, they can do less, but they can't do more. They can't go outside of their authority. Now, if she just says, I'm a woman, and I have rights, and you had no right to touch my property, and I place that property into that account. Now, if you want to release that property to somebody else, you let me know, and I'll give you the green light. Whether it's the IRS or whether it's the treasurer of Augusta County, I'll let you know if I want you to release my property to somebody else. It's like somebody coming on my property and saying, well, I just released 300 cattle to this guy. Why did you release 300 cattle to this guy? Well, because he said you owed a debt. It's like, don't you think I have a right to a hearing? Don't you think I have a right to a trial? Don't you think I have a right to bring this before a jury? Or are you just going to say, well, you know what, we took 300 and we put them over here? Well, like I said, there are certain laws that you can do that, but when you do that, you got to be bonded. So, like, say somebody was arguing over me with cattle, and I had 300 cattle over here, and he was claiming that his cattle, walked over onto my property and mingled with mine. But whatever reason, the brands were the same, or they looked the same, or neither one of us could care less to brand them. So what he could do is, yes, he could get the sheriff's department. Yes, the sheriff's department can take the cattle, and then they got to put them in storage, obviously, until the ruling from the court who gets the cattle. But if you're telling some sheriff's department you got to get those 300 cattle, seize that cattle, protect the assets, and put them in a livestock somewhere, put them in a holding pen somewhere, you're going to have to pay for feed, you're going to have to pay for transport, you're going to have to pay for all the stuff, you're going to have to put up a bond for the expenses of taking and maintaining these cattle. The sheriff's department will go collect these 300 cattle for you, but you're going to have to put up $1 million bond for feeding and warehousing these cattle until the judge comes back with the ruling. Then once the judge comes back with the ruling, the sheriff's either going to release the bond back to you and saying, okay, we're going to go get the money out of this guy's ass because this guy actually did steal your cattle, or no, you lost, and we're going to hold this bond, and we're going to take $50,000 out of this bond, and we'll give you back the change, but, you wasted everybody's time, and somebody's going to pay for this. So it's the same thing what my sister's got to do with Bank of America. See, somebody's going to have to pay for this loss of my time and effort it was to recollect my property, which you should have never released in the first place.